What if I told you that some of the strongest, most powerful bodies in history were built almost entirely without a single bite of meat? Not in a lab, not with expensive powders, but with humble plants, seeds, and ancient foods that your great-grandparents would have recognized instantly. Most people have no idea, and today we're uncovering 22 ancient plant foods that modern science is finally proving can help build real muscle, improve recovery, and support lasting strength. By the end of this video, you may realize that the future of building muscle has actually been growing in the past all along. Here is the protein ranking of the 22 plant foods ordered from lowest protein content to highest. Food number 22. Chia seeds. Approximate protein 4 to 5 grams per 2 tablespoons. The endurance fuel of ancient runners. The word chia is said to mean strength in an ancient language. And that is no accident. The Aztec and Mayan civilizations relied on these tiny seeds as a portable source of energy. Legend tells us that warriors and long-distance runners carried them on exhausting journeys to sustain their stamina. Chia seeds are a complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids, and they provide around 4 to 5 grams of protein in just 2 tablespoons. But their greatest gift is staying power. This is where things become especially interesting. When chia seeds come into contact with liquid, they absorb it and form a natural gel. That gel slows digestion and releases energy gradually, exactly why ancient runners trusted them during long treks. They are also rich in fiber, heart-healthy omega-3 fats, and essential minerals that support your muscles, heart, and overall health. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. You can stir them into water, blend them into smoothies, mix them into yogurt, or let them soak overnight to create a thick, creamy chia pudding. Sometimes the smallest seeds carry the greatest strength. Food number 21. Nutritional yeast. Approximate protein 5 grams per 2 tablespoons. The cheesy flakes hiding real protein. Nutritional yeast is a deactivated yeast grown specifically as a food. It is sold as golden flakes with a rich, savory, cheesy, nutty flavor. And here's the surprising part. Nutritional yeast is genuinely protein-rich, providing around 5 grams of protein in just 2 tablespoons. It is also commonly fortified with vitamin B12, a nutrient that can be difficult to obtain from plant foods alone. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. Vitamin B12 supports healthy nerves, energy production, and the formation of red blood cells. Getting enough of it is something every plant-focused eater should pay close attention to. Think of nutritional yeast as a delicious flavor booster that quietly helps support your muscles and your overall health at the same time. You can sprinkle it over popcorn, stir it into soups and sauces, or dust it across pasta, roasted vegetables, and baked potatoes for a rich, cheesy flavor, without using any dairy. It transforms simple meals while adding real nutritional value. Food number 20. Oats. Approximate protein 5 to 6 grams per cup. The breakfast grain that quietly builds you probably already have this food sitting in your kitchen, and you may have no idea just how powerful it really is. Oats have nourished people across the cold northern regions of Europe for centuries. They were the dependable grain that kept farmers, shepherds, and laborers full, energized, and strong through long days of physical work. Here's what most people overlook. A single cup of cooked oats provides a surprising amount of protein, often around 5 to 6 grams, far more than most people expect from an ordinary bowl of breakfast cereal. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. Oats combine that protein with slow-digesting complex carbohydrates and a unique soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which releases energy gradually and helps keep you feeling satisfied for hours. That makes oats one of the best foods to eat before a workout, giving your body a steady supply of energy without the sudden crash. And here's where things become even more interesting. Oats are incredibly versatile. You can stir in hemp seeds, mix in chia seeds, add a spoonful of peanut butter, or top them with almonds, combining several of the foods on this very list into one incredibly powerful, muscle-building breakfast. For generations, oats were the quiet, dependable strength food of hard-working people. They never stopped being powerful. We simply forgot how extraordinary they truly are. Food number 19. Almonds, approximate protein 6 grams per ounce, 28 grams, the biblical tree nut of strength. Few foods carry a history as rich and enduring as the almond. It is mentioned in some of the world's oldest writings, including the Bible, where Aaron's rod miraculously blossomed and bore almonds, and where almonds were presented as a precious gift. For thousands of years across the Middle East and the Mediterranean, this remarkable tree nut was treasured. A single ounce of almonds provides around 6 grams of protein, along with healthy fats, vitamin E, and magnesium, that essential mineral your muscles need to contract and recover properly. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. Almonds provide steady, slow-burning energy and valuable building blocks for recovery, all in a form you can carry almost anywhere. A simple handful makes the perfect snack, and almond butter blends beautifully into smoothies, oatmeal, and other protein-rich meals. This is why our ancestors valued almonds so highly that they appeared in sacred stories and traveled along ancient trade routes. Like peanuts, almonds are calorie-dense, so a sensible handful goes a long way. This is not just another snack nut. It is a food backed by thousands of years of strength and tradition. Food number 18. Peanuts, approximate protein 8 grams per 2 tablespoons, the ground nut. Packed with power, despite the name, peanuts are not actually nuts at all. They are legumes, close cousins of beans and lentils, growing underground inside humble little shells. And they have quietly fueled hard-working people for generations across the Americas and Africa. Peanuts are one of the highest protein options among nuts and nut-like foods, delivering around 7 grams of protein per ounce, and just 2 tablespoons of peanut butter provide about 8 grams of protein. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. They are dense, satisfying, and packed with healthy fats and energy, making them an excellent choice when you're trying to build muscle and gain healthy weight. A spoonful of peanut butter spread on whole grain toast or blended into a smoothie is one of the easiest protein boosts you can add to your day. But here's a gentle reminder. Because peanuts are naturally high in healthy fats and calories, they are best enjoyed in reasonable portions. And of course, anyone with a peanut allergy should avoid them entirely. Food number 17. Farro and ancient wheat, approximate protein 6 to 8 grams per cup. The grain that fed marching armies. Farro is one of the oldest cultivated grains in human history, an ancient form of wheat that nourished the soldiers and citizens of mighty empires. Roman legions reportedly relied on hearty grain rations as they marched and fought across vast distances. And this chewy, satisfying grain was part of the fuel that helped build the ancient world. A cooked serving of farro delivers a generous amount of protein, often around 6 to 8 grams per cup, far more than most refined grains. It also provides abundant fiber and slow-releasing complex carbohydrates. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. When you're building muscle, those complex carbohydrates are not optional. They replenish your muscle glycogen, restore your energy stores, and allow your protein to focus on repairing and building muscle tissue. Farro has a rich, nutty flavor and a wonderfully chewy texture that makes it perfect for soups, salads, grain bowls, and hearty side dishes. For a grain this ancient and this nourishing, it's remarkable how completely it was pushed aside by modern refined wheat. One important safety note. Like all forms of wheat, farro contains gluten, so people with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity should avoid it. Food number 16. Buckwheat. Approximate protein 6 grams per cup. The misnamed seed that completes the list. Despite being called buckwheat, it is not wheat at all, and it contains no gluten whatsoever. It is actually a seed related to rhubarb, cultivated across Asia and Eastern Europe for centuries as a hearty, dependable crop that thrives where little else will grow. Here's why it deserves its place at the end of this list. Buckwheat is one of the rare plant foods with a complete amino acid profile, containing all 9 essential amino acids. And it is especially rich in lysine, the amino acid that most grains lack. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. A single cooked serving provides a solid amount of protein, along with important minerals like magnesium and manganese, which help support muscle function, energy production, and recovery. Think of it as a complete protein and a natural energy source, all wrapped into one humble seed. You can cook the groats just like rice, grind them into flour for hearty pancakes, or enjoy them as the traditional buckwheat noodles that have been eaten for centuries in Japan and throughout Eastern Europe. Because it is naturally gluten-free and grows in poor soil where almost nothing else survives, buckwheat has been a true survival food for countless generations. The crop families depended on when harvests were poor and winters were long. It asks for so little and gives back so much. Food number 15. Quinoa. Approximate protein 8 grams per cup. The sacred mother grain of the mountains high in the Andes. Mountains of South America, an ancient civilization called this food the mother of all grains, treating it as nothing less than sacred. The Inca civilization considered quinoa so precious that their emperors planted the first seeds of each season using golden tools. Quinoa is not technically a grain at all. It is a seed, and it is one of the only plant foods on Earth that contains all 9 essential amino acids in a complete protein profile. That alone makes it extraordinary. But here's where things become especially interesting for anyone trying to build muscle. A single cooked cup of quinoa provides around 8 grams of protein, while also delivering the complex carbohydrates your muscles burn for fuel during intense exercise. Some researchers note that quinoa's amino acid profile rivals that of casein, the slow-digesting milk protein that bodybuilders have valued for decades. It cooks in about 15 minutes, has a light, nutty flavor, and works beautifully in everything from breakfast bowls to dinner-side dishes. For thousands of years, this sacred seed kept mountain civilizations strong at altitudes where little else would grow, surviving thin air, freezing nights, and rocky soil that would defeat almost any other crop. And for centuries, quinoa remained hidden away in remote villages high in the Andes. We are only now catching up to what those ancient civilizations always knew. If you're starting to see the pattern here, if you're realizing that some of the most powerful muscle-building foods on Earth have been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who love plants, gardening, natural living, and timeless wisdom that still works today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Here at Plant Nutrition Lab, we're building a community of people who believe that nature still has some of the greatest answers to modern health, and I'd love to have you as part of it. Food number 14. Green peas. Approximate protein 8 to 9 grams per cup. The garden staple. Stronger than you think. The humble green pea has been quietly feeding humanity for thousands of years, and it is far more powerful than most people give it credit for. Here's the surprising truth. A single cup of green peas contains around 8 to 9 grams of protein, which is remarkable for something most people think of as nothing more than a simple vegetable side dish. And this is where things get interesting. Peas contain meaningful amounts of leucine, lysine, and glutamine, amino acids that play important roles in muscle growth, repair, and recovery. This is exactly why pea protein has exploded in popularity as a supplement in recent years. In powdered form, it can provide 25 to 30 grams of protein per serving, with a well-balanced amino acid profile that digests gently and rarely upsets the stomach. But here's the good news. You don't need the powder to enjoy the benefits. plain frozen peas are inexpensive, easy to find, ready in just a few minutes, and packed with nutrition. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. Food number 13. Pumpkin seeds, approximate protein 8 to 9 grams per ounce, 28 grams, the autumn treasure that builds and repairs. Every fall, millions of people carve pumpkins and throw away one of the most valuable muscle-building foods hidden inside them. Pumpkin seeds, also called pepitas, have been eaten across the Americas for thousands of years, treasured by native peoples long before they became a seasonal afterthought. Here's why that matters. A single ounce of pumpkin seeds delivers around 8 to 9 grams of protein, which is an impressive amount for something so small. But the real magic goes much deeper. Pumpkin seeds are extraordinarily rich in magnesium and zinc, two minerals that are absolutely critical for muscle function and recovery. Magnesium helps your muscles contract and relax properly, while zinc plays a key role in repairing tissue after exercise. Think of them as tiny recovery capsules, naturally packaged inside a vegetable. This is exactly why our ancestors never wasted them. They roasted them, salted them, and carried them as a portable energy food on long journeys. Today they make the perfect snack, crunchy, satisfying, and incredibly nutritious. They also sprinkle beautifully over salads, oatmeal, yogurt, and grain bowls. Food number 12. Hemp seeds, approximate protein 9 to 10 grams per 3 tablespoons, the complete protein seed. Our ancestors trusted now. Here's a food that has been unfairly forgotten, tangled up in confusion, even though humans have been using it for thousands of years. And here's the surprising part. Hemp seeds are a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids, with around 9 to 10 grams of protein in just 3 tablespoons. They are also remarkably easy to digest. Studies have shown digestibility above 88%, meaning your body actually absorbs and uses the protein you eat. This is the hidden power of this forgotten seed. Beyond protein, hemp seeds provide an exceptional balance of healthy fats, fiber, and important minerals like magnesium, which your muscles need to contract, relax, and function properly. They have a mild, nutty flavor and require absolutely no cooking. Simply sprinkle them over oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, stir them into yogurt, or scatter them across a fresh salad. For a long time, misunderstanding and misinformation kept these remarkable seeds off American plates. But now, they're finally making the comeback they deserve. Food number 11. Tofu. Approximate protein 10 grams per serving, 85 to 100 grams. The ancient soy curd that rivals whey tofu has been made in East Asia for nearly 2,000 years, pressed from soybean curds into a soft, neutral block that absorbs whatever flavor you give it. But here's where things get genuinely remarkable. Soy is one of the very few plant foods that contains all 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions, making it what scientists call a complete protein. And this is the part that surprises people the most. Research suggests that soy protein, like tofu, can build strength and muscle mass just as effectively as whey protein when paired with resistance training. Think about that for a moment. A humble bean curd that has existed for nearly 2,000 years can hold its own against the most popular muscle supplement on the market. Extra firm tofu gives you the most protein per serving, roughly 10 grams in a modest portion. And it can be grilled, baked, scrambled, or stir-fried. Because it has almost no flavor of its own, it becomes a blank canvas, soaking up marinades, spices, and sauces until it tastes like whatever you want it to be. Crisp it in a hot pan, crumble it into a breakfast scramble, or simmer it in a rich, flavorful broth. For many years, people dismissed tofu as bland or boring. That was their loss. This is not just soft white blocks in a tub. It is one of the most thoroughly researched and proven muscle-building plant foods on Earth. Food number 10. Chickpeas. Approximate protein 12 to 15 grams per cup. the garbanzo that built the ancient Mediterranean. If you've ever eaten hummus, you've already tasted one of the oldest protein traditions in human history. Chickpeas have been grown around the Mediterranean and the Middle East for thousands of years, feeding everyone from Egyptian builders to Roman soldiers. A single cup of cooked chickpeas brings about 12 to 15 grams of protein to the table, along with a generous helping of fiber and slow-burning complex carbohydrates. Here's why that matters. When you're building muscle, you don't just need protein, you need fuel. And chickpeas give you both in one package, providing steady energy that keeps you going through a long workout without the crash. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. You can roast them until they turn crispy for a snack, blend them into hummus for a perfect pre-workout bite, or grind them into chickpea flour for protein-rich pancakes and flatbreads. For centuries, chickpeas were considered the everyday protein of the common people, the food that filled the bellies of those who worked with their hands. Food number 9, pine nuts, approximate protein 13 to 14 grams per 100 grams, the ancient superfood that builds muscle. For more than 10,000 years, Native American peoples, including the Washoe, Shoshone, Paiute, and Hopi, considered pine nuts one of their most valuable foods. Now let's see why modern nutrition experts continue to admire pine nuts. Every 100 grams provides approximately around 13 to 14 grams of protein in the varieties most commonly sold today. But protein alone doesn't tell the whole story. Pine nuts contain a wide range of amino acids, including all of the essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. These amino acids help with supporting recovery after exercise, building muscle. They're also naturally rich in magnesium. Magnesium helps your muscles contract properly, and may even help reduce muscle cramps. Then comes zinc, a mineral your body depends on for protein synthesis and muscle repair. For centuries, pine nuts have been treasured in kitchens around the world. In Italy, they are one of the signature ingredients in classic pesto. Across the Middle East, they are added to fragrant rice dishes, stuffed vegetables, and traditional recipes like maklouba. They also pair beautifully with roasted vegetables, fresh salads, whole grain dishes, and homemade sauces. Food number 8, amaranth, approximate protein 14 grams per 100 grams. The forbidden grain of the Aztecs long ago. A tiny golden seed was so important to the people of ancient Mexico that it became part of their sacred ceremonies. The Aztecs grew amaranth alongside corn and beans, and it was so deeply woven into their culture that, according to history, it was later suppressed by colonizers trying to erase native traditions. But this remarkable little seed survived. Here's why it matters. Amaranth is a complete, or nearly complete, protein, containing about 14% protein with a beautifully balanced amino acid profile. And it is especially rich in lysine, an amino acid that most grains contain in only very small amounts. Think of it as nature filling in the nutritional gap that ordinary grains leave behind. Beyond protein, amaranth is loaded with calcium, magnesium, iron, and manganese, minerals that support strong bones, healthy muscles, and overall physical performance. It cooks into a creamy porridge. It pops like tiny popcorn, and it can even be ground into flour for baking. For thousands of years, this was both a survival food and a sacred food. Food number 7, black beans, approximate protein 15 grams per cup, the New World powerhouse hiding in your pantry. Native peoples paired black beans with corn and squash in a trio so nutritionally complete that it kept entire civilizations strong. And here's what most people miss. Black beans deliver around 15 grams of protein per cooked cup, but their real secret is what comes alongside that protein. They are rich in lysine and leucine, two amino acids that are often difficult to obtain from plant foods. And leucine in particular is the key that helps switch on muscle growth in your body. Think of leucine as the spark that tells your muscles it's time to build. Eaten alongside rice or corn, black beans complete the amino acid picture and give your body everything it needs to repair and grow. They are also packed with antioxidants and fiber that support your heart while keeping your energy stable. Cheap, shelf-stable, and endlessly useful. Black beans were the quiet protein backbone of an entire hemisphere. Food number 6. Edamame. Approximate protein 17 to 18 grams per cup. The young soybean the ancients snacked on. Before soybeans become tofu or tempeh, they begin as edamame, the young green soybean harvested before it fully hardens. And these little pods are far more powerful than their humble appearance suggests. Edamame has been eaten in China and across East Asia for centuries, originally enjoyed exactly the way we enjoy it today, as a simple, satisfying snack. Just half a cup of edamame delivers around 9 grams of complete protein, making it one of the rare plant snacks that provides every essential amino acid your body needs to build muscle. Think of it as nature's protein snack, ready to eat with nothing more than a sprinkle of salt. While most snacks leave you with little more than empty calories, edamame gives you real, usable building blocks for strength and recovery. It is also rich in fiber, vitamins, and plant compounds called isoflavones, which have been studied for a variety of potential health benefits. You can find it frozen in nearly every grocery store, and it's ready in just a few minutes. This is not just a side dish served at a restaurant. It is one of the easiest muscle-building foods you will ever eat. Food number 5. Lentils. Approximate protein 18 grams per cup. The humble pulse that fed entire civilizations. Let's start with one of the oldest cultivated foods on the entire planet. Lentils have been found in human settlements dating back more than 8,000 years, eaten by farmers, soldiers, and royalty alike. These tiny little discs are quietly one of the best muscle-building foods you can put on your plate. A single cooked cup of lentils delivers around 18 grams of protein, and they cost less than almost any other protein source in the grocery store. Think about that for a moment. 18 grams of protein for pennies on the dollar. And this is where things get interesting. Lentils are not just protein. They are loaded with iron and folate, 2 nutrients that help carry oxygen to your working muscles, which is exactly what you need when you're training hard and trying to recover. In the ancient world, lentils were the everyday meal that kept laborers strong and armies on their feet. They cook in just 20 to 30 minutes. They hold their flavor beautifully, and they slide effortlessly into soups, stews, and grain bowls. Red lentils break down into a soft, creamy texture. Green lentils hold their shape perfectly for salads and meal prep. There is even an ancient story in the Bible where a man named Esau traded away his birthright, his entire inheritance, for a single steaming bowl of red lentil stew. Most people walk right past lentils because they seem too simple, too plain, and too cheap to matter. But that's exactly why they're a secret weapon when you're trying to build muscle on a budget. Food number 4. Tempeh. Approximate protein 18 to 19 grams per 3 ounces, 85 grams. The fermented superfood from the islands. If tofu is the gentle cousin, tempeh is the bold, muscular older brother. Born on the islands of Indonesia centuries ago, tempeh is made by fermenting whole soybeans into a firm, nutty cake that holds together beautifully. And here's what makes it so special. Because tempeh uses the whole bean and is naturally fermented, it packs even more protein than tofu, delivering around 18 to 19 grams in a single 3-ounce serving. That's a number that rivals many cuts of meat. The fermentation process does something remarkable. It makes the nutrients easier for your body to absorb, and it adds beneficial probiotics that support your gut, something that plays a much bigger role in recovery than most people realize. Tempeh has a firm, satisfying texture that grills and marinates like a dream, soaking up sauces and spices to become almost anything you want. For generations, this was a daily staple that helped build strong, hard-working communities. Food number 3. Seitan. Approximate protein 25 grams per 100 grams, approximately 21 grams per 3-ounce serving. The wheat meat monks discovered. According to tradition, Seitan was discovered almost by accident by Buddhist monks searching for a satisfying meat-free food more than 1,000 years ago. Seitan is made from wheat gluten, the natural protein found in wheat. The dough is washed and worked until almost all of the starch is removed, leaving behind a dense, chewy, meat-like food. This is the hidden power of this forgotten food. Its texture is so satisfying and so similar to meat that it has been a beloved staple in East Asian temple cooking for centuries, allowing cooks to recreate hearty dishes without using a single animal product. You can slice it, grill it, simmer it in broth, or season it any way you like. But here's one important safety note. Because seitan is made almost entirely from wheat gluten, anyone with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity should avoid it completely. For everyone else, however, it remains one of the highest protein plant foods you can eat. This is not just another meat substitute. It is a 1,000-year-old discovery that modern muscle builders are only now beginning to appreciate. Food number 2. Spirulina. Approximate protein 57 to 70 grams per 100 grams, 4 grams per tablespoon. The sacred algae of ancient warriors. And it has a history almost too remarkable to believe. More than 500 years ago, the Aztec people harvested a blue-green algae from the surface of Lake Texcoco, scooping it up with fine nets and drying it into nutrient-rich cakes. They called it tequitlatl, and it became an essential protein source for as many as 1.5 million people. Aztec warriors, and the legendary long-distance runners who carried messages across the empire, relied on it for strength and endurance. Here's what makes spirulina truly extraordinary. It is one of the most protein-dense foods ever discovered. It contains all of the essential amino acids, delivering roughly 4 grams of protein in just 1 tablespoon. That's an astonishing amount of nutrition in such a tiny serving. A small note of caution. Spirulina is highly concentrated, so it's best enjoyed in modest amounts, blended into smoothies or other foods. And, as with any supplement, always choose a trusted, high-quality source. This is not just pond algae, it is one of the oldest performance foods in human history. Food number 1. Lupini beans. Approximate protein 28 to 48 grams per 100 grams. The ancient superfood that could change the future of nutrition. One of the world's oldest cultivated foods. Depending on the variety, dried lupini beans contain between 28 and 48 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's significantly more protein than chickpeas. The protein quality deserves special attention. Lupini beans are rich in lysine, an essential amino acid that cereals like wheat and rice contain only in small amounts. When eaten together, rice and lupini beans, bread with lupini spread, or whole grains with lupins. The amino acids complement one another beautifully, creating a much more balanced plant protein. Now, there's something extremely important you need to know. Raw, bitter lupini beans should never be eaten. Turning bitter lupins into safe food requires patience. Traditionally, families soaked the beans for several days, then boiled them, then repeatedly rinsed them in fresh water, or lightly salted water, for nearly a week. One of the most exciting modern recipes is lupini hummus. Replacing chickpeas with lupini beans creates a creamy dip containing only a fraction of the carbohydrates. The future of high-protein nutrition may not be hiding in a laboratory. It's waiting inside an ancient seed that civilizations. Today, we've explored 22 incredible plant foods that prove something remarkable. Building muscle has never depended on eating meat alone. For thousands of years, some of the strongest civilizations on Earth thrived on lentils, beans, soy, ancient grains, seeds, nuts, and other humble plants long before protein powders and modern supplements ever existed, what they understood through experience. Science is now confirming through research. Muscle isn't built by one magical food. It's built by giving your body the right combination of high-quality protein, essential amino acids, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, consistent exercise, and enough time to recover. And the beautiful part is that many of these foods are affordable, easy to find, and have nourished humanity for centuries. So here's my challenge for you. This week, choose 3 foods from today's list that you've never tried before. Maybe it's tempeh, lupini beans, buckwheat, amaranth, or even spirulina. Experiment with them, discover new recipes, and let your kitchen become your laboratory for better health. I'd love to know, which of these plant foods surprised you the most? Or, which one is already your favorite? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read as many of your comments as I can, and your ideas often inspire future videos. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Science. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future videos. Here at Plant Nutrition Lab, we explore the fascinating science, history, and practical benefits of nature's most extraordinary foods, helping you make healthier choices backed by both ancient wisdom and modern research. Until next time, take care of your body. Feed it with real food. Stay curious, stay strong, and remember, sometimes the greatest superfoods aren't the newest discoveries. They're the ancient treasures we've simply forgotten. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.